with public comment. This public comment is normally to take up, if you're here for an item that will be taken up under closed session. There'll be another public comment opportunity at 9:30 and also before each agenda item. Is there anybody that would like to go at this time on the public comment? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Egan, can you announce items to be discussed in closed session?
Be happy to. Mr. Chairman, the board will be convening in closed session for a conference with legal counsel regarding significant exposure of litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, one case, and for a conference with labor negotiator Rick Hague. This may include the following bargaining units: Lassen County Peace Officers Association, Lassen County Peace Officers Association Supervisors Unit, Lassen County Peace Officers Association Management Unit, and Lassen County Deputy Sheriff's Association.
Okay, thank you. So with that, we'll go on to closed session. Could you please stand and
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we pray this day for ever-enduring guidance. We ask you to focus in wisdom and fortitude, that we may disperse our knowledge and facts intelligently among all humanity whom we serve.
Amen. One person's got to complain about that, and we're done.
Welcome, and before we move on to our first agenda item, our Violet has asked. Yeah, you can read Violet. I'd like to read a poem from Violet that she did for the board for the Christmas season. Let's make this more than Christmas Eve and more than just good cheer. Let's make it more than greeting those we see throughout the year. Let's make it more than sending cards and writing those afar. Let's make it more than the holidays and more than a bazaar. Let's make it more than singing songs and giving candy canes. Let's make it more than Santa Claus and sleigh bells in the lanes. Let's make it more than giving gifts and more than lighting trees. Let's make it more than Christmas Day with dinners to appease. Let's not let Christmas pass this year without a thought of your. Let's make amends where they should be and love our neighbors more. Let's make this Christmas all we can. It just takes you and me. Let's bless our Savior, Jesus Christ, and how he came to be. Merry Christmas.
That's a nice one.
Thank you to Violet. She's been a tremendous asset to the community, and I really appreciate it. I'm sure the board does her good work. So. Okay. We'll officially resume with announcements of items discussed in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, the board met in closed session for a conference with legal counsel. Significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, one case. There was no reportable action. The board also met in closed session for a conference with labor negotiator Rick Hague, which included the following bargaining units: Lassen County Peace Officers Association, Lassen County Peace Officers Association Supervisors Unit, Lassen County Peace Officers Association Management Unit, and the Lassen County Deputy Sheriff's Association. There was no reportable action.
Okay, we'll move on to item B2, agenda approval, additions, and or deletions. Any public comment? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay, we'll move on to public comment. This is an opportunity I'll first call on, I have some speaker cards here, but you can bring up any matters you'd like. If you're here for a specific agenda item, there'll be a public comment before that item, or as that item is called. Okay, I'll call first on Melody Brawley.
Mr. Chairman, board members, Melody Brawley, Health and Social Services. It occurred to me that I've been here every Tuesday, but I haven't given you an update on what's happening in our department. We've had a few moves. Back in November, our HSS fiscal unit moved to 700 Brashear, where the DA's office used to be. They moved new carpet and stuff, and it worked very nicely for them. Puts them quite close to the rest of the operations so that they can run things back and forth a little easier. And they're also between our campus over here and our campus over there. And then, because they moved out of the career network, the rest of the public assistance staff at Community Social Services has now moved to the career network. So it's kind of a dream I always had that anyone who came in to apply for public assistance would go to the place where that you can get a job. And that's happening now. There's a huge job board there, and if you ever notice, almost every one of those boxes has a job in it that someone could apply for. So it's a great way to connect public assistance to getting work. And then that leaves a smaller group at Richmond Road that we are now calling our Adult Services Office. So that includes Adult Protective Services, In-Home Supportive Services, the Public Guardian, and then we also have the, there's a couple of Family Solutions staff there. That's our wraparound services staff. So I just wanted to let you know that things have been happening, and I apologize for not getting the word to you sooner. I've been busy and forgot about it. I assume everyone knows what we're up to. Any questions? Thank you.
Making too much noise. We can't hear.
I have cards from Larry Caboni and Mary Wheeler, but on both of the cards it says during public comment and also check to speak regarding F1. Did both of you want to wait till the end to talk now?
Larry Caboni's in the hall.
I think they both are.
Would you just ask them they wanted to go now or before them? Hi, Larry. We haven't taken up the item F1, but you are more than happy to talk now. You can again when we bring it up.
Yeah, I turned in 2 cards.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'm Larry Caboni, with the RCD, I guess Honey Lake Valley RCD. I wanted to speak a little bit this morning before, I guess, express my concern of this thing later this afternoon, the selection process. To be honest with you, I really felt blindsided. And maybe it's because I'm just new to the board again and didn't get the information. But I had no knowledge that any of this was taking place until Friday. And I suddenly get word that, hey, we're going to go through the selection process, the Board of Supervisors. What do you mean? So I tried to find out a little bit, well, what happened? What's okay, so we have 2 vacancies, and that kind of came out. So I called up Tom and said, hey, what's going on? And of course, he immediately tells me, you guys screwed up again, and did some things with Water Master Contract and RFP, and you didn't do it, and by God, you're all screwed up. And at first,
It wasn't quite like that, Larry.
well, I know, but
Go ahead.
and in a way, maybe it's personal on it. Anyway, I sit there and I go, well, wait a minute, that doesn't all sound right. I'm going to get some facts and figures and go back and do some hunting and see what's going on our end, what's going on your end, because I don't think this is all correct, at least the picture painted. And the more I delved into it, more little questions kind of came up. And So I'm going into the office down there, and I'm talking to our secretary, and I said, well, trying to get some facts and data to present to you guys, and it comes out, well, when did they tell us about this election thing? Well, they didn't, Larry. What do you mean they didn't? How come, what's going on? Well, I have to accidentally see it in the paper. Huh? So the more I check this out, what's going on? What's the adversarial thing between you guys, or I'd say you guys, Lassen County, and the RCD? Why weren't we notified? Why didn't we have any knowledge of any of this? When I checked it out, our two vacancies, the two individuals that are in those vacancies, because Mary accidentally saw it in the paper, was able to get them to get their applications in so they could have applied. But if all things had went as it could have went, your whole selection process, if you do a selection today, could have taken place without those guys even having a chance to put in their name. Now, maybe you don't want them on the board. Maybe that's the plan. I don't know. But something that just doesn't ring right with the process. And I know in the last time we went through an election and selection, I was in the middle of it. It became a kind of an adversarial thing between you guys and the RCD, Water Master Service, and all this stuff. And it seems like that's what brought this all up again. And I guess I just would like to, first of all, say that on the record of the two items that Tom related to me on the Water Master thing, of why the contract was extended, yes, we sat there and we were going through the RFP, we put together the RFP, we had a committee and repassed it and got it all ready to go. And in the midst of it all, it was kind of brought up, hey, we're in the middle of a bunch of lawsuits and a bunch of things are going on. Is this the time to be changing contractors and what have you? So it got proposed out, and this is to the WAC committee, and our WAC committee, 6 members now, which represents the water users, took in all the data, and they unanimously voted to extend the contract, to recommend to the RCD to extend the contract. So that's where it came from on that. The RFP was put together and said we will put it together next year. Hopefully these lawsuits will all be over and we'll get on with business as usual. For what it's worth, that's our information on that end of the thing. But I'm more concerned, and the reason I wanted to speak this morning is, I went back through the book and said, how did RCDs come about? Mr. Pyle there has made it very clear that you guys have no authority over the RCD. I don't know why, but, other than we have allowed you to make the selections for us. Our inner workings are not independent. I don't know why that is. Because when I look at this and say when the federal government realized back there when they formed the Soil Conservation Service and formed RCDs, or went to RTD, why didn't they just go to the county? Why didn't they just say, we want local input and use the counties? Why did they make an RCD? I don't have the answers to that, to be honest with you, but there has to be a reason. I know there's some things we can do that you guys don't do, but the more important thing is we're supposed to be focused on agriculture, soil and water was the main thing. We're focused. We're not gentle. We're not compartmentalized and adversarial. We shouldn't be. We should be focusing into that kind of stuff. So that came about. Then I went through the selection process, and one of the most important things here is that you guys are going to do selections. And I don't know how our book tells you what to do, but it says very clearly in here that you're supposed to be going out and getting with the important constituents in agriculture and getting their input before you do any selections. I don't know if you do that. I think, there's some things we could do. We should be having associate directors so that there are people that are trained and ready to go forward in the wing so that when we do have vacancies, they're ready to go. There's things that we should be doing and what have you. Why aren't we communicating? Why aren't we working together on this for the good of the county? I don't understand power into this adversarial thing, or sure appears adversarial, without even getting started.
Mary, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you short, but in public comment, we can't really have,
I know,
those
I know.
questions would be better served.
No, these are open-ended questions. I want you to think about it. I'm not expecting answers.
Bring it up when we take up the agenda item. We can have
I am planning to talk
better
again,
dialogue.
Larry.
Yeah, perfect.
My concern is strictly on trying to talk about our relationship. I think it's something we need to be thinking about for the good of the county and the good of agriculture.
Thank you.
That was my point.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mary Wheeler, do you want to go at this time or under the F1 item?
Mary's going to come back in at the next time.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to go under public comment at this time? Okay, let's move on. We'll quickly take up our unagendized board reports. We'll start off with Supervisor Hammond.
Oh, I have nothing.
Supervisor Jones.
I have nothing other than just to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hope you have a good holiday and look forward to the end of the year.
Mr. Elmore.
Yeah, I went to the RCRC meeting down there in Sacramento. We have our new officers. The chairman's going to be Lee Adams from Plumas County. John Diego from Glenn County is going to be the first vice chair. And then Bob Williams from Tehama County is going to be the second vice chair. It was kind of funny. You'll appreciate this. Then there was Bob and Les who were talking about who was going to do it, but Bob had the winning slogan. It was less ball and more ball.
Knowing those two, that did less provide for the job?
No, they were just kind of.
Good, okay.
The federal bill, it was okay to the new Congress, so we should be expecting that money. The SRS, though, it did not make it, and it's doubtful, maybe after the first year or so, maybe we're going to get together and put a resolution together to support the SRS funds. The West Coast Fisher is looking to be enlisted by the Fish and Wildlife Service, and we have until January 5th to make comments on that. Lassen County isn't listed, but it's right over the border there in Shasta County, so that might be something we might be interested in. We're coming out with a new transportation analysis through CEQA, and so I'm sure you're aware of that, Maureen. So we need to be working with you on that to see how that's going to impact things. They're having groundwater management workshops. They're having 3 of them coming up. There's only 3. One's going to be in Willows. The other 2 are in Tulare and Modesto. And that one in Willows is on the 26th of January. We need to make early registrations. That's going to be limited to supervisors and county employees, and I expect that to fill up really quick. So I want to make some reservations for that, and I would be very interested in attending that myself.
That's RCRC.
Who's putting on?
I'll ask you about it after the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you. I'll just report briefly on the air board meeting that I attended with Supervisor Pyle. Last Tuesday was a relatively short agenda and just some routine business. Well, just right through it in record times.
15 minutes.
So not much to report on.
Jack came after my meeting and you guys already done.
Okay, I know we have a 10 o'clock time certain, and but I think what I'd like to do is, I think there's a lot of people here for the F1 water appointment. I'd like to take that up, because once we get going into after the 10 o'clock item, we're pretty stacked up, so rather than keep it away for 2 hours. Let's take up that item.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to step out. I'm a shareholder of a company that's in litigation with that district, so I'm going to step out.
And I'm going to step out because I need water right to the river decree.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, F1 comes on the agenda not because we were trying to slip something past the radar, but because we were asked to by the Honey Lake Valley RCD to make appointments to fill vacancies on that board by their own resolution. Which has been in place for some time now, by the very same resolution that saw the public commenter some moments ago take his seat. And so this was also advertised in the paper, and you have a number of applicants that are in the packet. I'll tell you
I
that.
think, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think it needs to be stated as part of that the expiration of these terms were not unexpected. We've known for
Correct.
years that as of November, whatever the date was,
28th.
these terms expired. So the fact that they only tuned into that on Friday, I find this somewhat surprising since they're the ones that should be engaged in that process.
One might think that the seat holders are aware of the expiration date of their very own terms, but that's just me thinking out
Well,
loud.
I think that needs to be stated for the record.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, the spokesman at the podium gives a different impression, but
Yes.
I find that surprising.
And consequently, the law, interestingly, the law as it relates to filling vacancies on RCDs is different than the law that relates to filling vacancies in special districts. In RCDs, in community service districts or fire protection districts or special districts generally speaking, the law is that the board, the board where the vacancy exists has the authority for a period of time after the vacancy occurs within which to fill its own vacancy, and if they don't act within that time frame, then that authority to fill that seat then vests with the Board of Supervisors. Contrary to the process set out in 9314 of the Public Resources Code related to the filling of vacancies in resource conservation districts, of which Honey Lake Valley RCD is one, the authority for filling a vacancy upon the existence of the vacancy is first with the Board of Supervisors, if, of course, the resolution is in place, and there is one in place for that appointment to occur here. And that authority exists for 60 days thereafter, and upon the expiration of 60 days, by operation of law, the power to fill those vacancies then shifts back to the Resource Conservation District automatically. And so the vacancies for the two seats that are the subject of consideration today was November 28th. The clerk, doing her job, posted applications or posted the vacancies that were going to be upcoming in the newspaper, applications, there was interest expressed. She's received applications. You have those applications in your file, and so the question is are you inclined to appoint or not? There are two. It's very interesting. The law on the filling of vacancies related to resource conservation districts is even though the term expires, and we're talking about two in this case, those individuals that serve in those seats continue to have authority and are expected to serve in those seats until the vacancies are filled, which is kind of an interesting, different point in the law. But
That's true for all offices. Look into it. You serve until your successor is qualified in a seat.
Well, suffice to say that the two seat holders that are in the two seats that expired on November 28th essentially are still holding those seats until qualified successors are chosen, whether it be by this board or whether it reverts back to the RCD and filled in some other process. So, thank you.
I think what I'd like to do is we'll have a brief discussion amongst the board, and then I'll call up on the applicants, and then we'll open it to public comment, and we'll bring it back. So, any board members who would like to comment at this time?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I did want to point out that one of the applicants did correspond by email with management, Mr. Egan and myself. He was unable to attend today. He regrets not being able to attend. It was Mr. Mallory, and he asked that I distribute a copy of a letter to each of the board members personally, and I've done so, and here are copies up here for anyone that would like one. It's very straightforward and to the point. He just regrets not being able to be here and didn't want that to be misunderstood as not being interested. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. So, if there's no board comment at this time, we'll call up the applicants. Okay. I think I'll start by reading what, as you said, John Mallory is an applicant. Read this letter as well. To the Lassen County Board of Supervisors, unfortunately, due to prior business obligations, I'm unable to attend today. I hope you will not assume my absence is indicative of my commitment to the RCD. Nothing could be farther from the truth. From the last 3 years, I've been trying to convince and help the RCD to comply with both court and state requirements. A properly functioning RCD is a benefit to our community, and I understand the importance of the board of directors in making this happen. As an RCD board member, I will work to achieve amicable decisions while still following state, court, local, and contractual requirements. As long as the RCD is administering our local decrees, I will insist that new term directors are selected through the election process rather than by board of supervisor appointments. I sincerely hope you decide to make appointments today and consider me in your decision. So, next, is John Bentley present?
Bentley back there.
He's coming in. Thank you.
Watch out for the bunchy sticks. Sorry.
How we doing?
Good, how are you? So we've had a little introduction.
I'm John Bentley. I'm Vice Chairman of the RCD Board.
Okay, and we're just calling on the applicants, then we're going to open up to public comment. So just if you have anything to say, yes. Thank you.
I've been with the RCD Board now for about 7 years. Been chairman. Been through a lot with it. And I'd like to finish it. That's one more term. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot more to say. You all know me. You know what I've done. And like I said, I'd like to finish it off. So that's about all I have to say.
Is Willis Dow present?
I don't believe so.
No. Shane Easy?
Sean?
Sorry, Sean. Hey, Sean.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hi, I'm Sean Geezy, and for a long time I've stayed out of a lot of things, just on business pretty much. But an opportunity came to get onto the Lassen College trustee board of trustees, and I really like it. I think it's good to be part of the community, and it's kind of opened up another world for me. And I think being on the RCD board would be another expansion for personal growth. And I feel that with my background of, how do I want to say this? Basically, I'm an honest person, and I care about the community. And with that background, I think it would be good to be on this board. And like I said, it would be personal growth as well. Kind of expand my horizons and my world. Like I said, I kind of just stayed hidden away for many, many years, but the college has really helped me to get out of that. I don't really have a background in agriculture or water, so there would also be growth in that too. To see, how important that is to the county. So if I do get on, it's going to be a learning process, but once I get my feet under me, I think I'll do well.
What is your vision of a properly functioning RCD?
My vision is find out what the law is, what the responsibilities are, and do it. But to find those two things out, I think I would have to get on board, do a lot of research, kind of see how it goes. Just like when I was on the college board, it took me quite a long time, to see what the rules are, to see how the game is played. And, so I can't really answer that specifically now without getting into it and finding out what it's all about, what's required. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Is Wayne Langston here?
Board members?
Wayne Langston, been a resident of Lassen County for 20 years. Been serving on several different boards and activities throughout the county. I'm married, have 3 boys, go to school here. It's a place I've been coming since I was 17 years old and vowed to live here someday. Unfortunately, I was able to do that. The reason why is because of the rural values, the community setting that exists here. It's a place I want to raise my kids. One of the things I've been involved in for my entire life is agriculture, mainly the irrigation part of things and what value water has to agriculture. A few years ago I came here and we were discussing the elimination or the stopping of the funds for the Williamson Act in California, and one of the things I brought up was we revisited the initial meaning and the intent of the Williamson Act. What was it designed for? What was it designed to do? I think it's time to get back to that on the Resource Conservation District. What is it really designed to do? And how does it affect Lassen County specifically? We've only got one resource in this county we're fighting over, and it's water. Because without it, we go back to being a desert, which I think we experienced last year. So we all know what a big impact it is. We can't sit here and think and see all the dissension that's happening amongst the water users in Lassen County and think we don't have a problem. I think it needs to be looked at with more of a whole. I think there needs to be understanding. I applaud Mr. Cavodi. We need to get rid of the adversarialism. We need to start working together and start working at it towards the letters of law. That's how these water decrees were put in place. They're law. Very black and white, literally. Unless